Hello and welcome to Physical Therapy, a movie podcast inspired by the world of physical media and beyond. My name is Kurt.
My name is Sam.
We have a very special episode today. We are joined by Brian Saur, the host of the great podcasts Just the Disc and Pure Cinema. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Brian, first off, tell our listeners a little bit about your two podcasts if they have not had the pleasure.
Well, the one maybe most relevant to this show is Just the Discs, and that is a physical media show that sort of spawned off of my time. I was on a show called Off the Shelf, which was part of the Criterion Cast network with my friend Ryan Gallagher. Boy, that's going to be more than 10 years ago now, I think. And it sort of led me to, when that show ended, I wanted to do something else with physical media. And so I just started a podcast that was initially an interview-based show and now has become both a YouTube channel and a podcast just based around the discs I've been picking up for the most part. Occasionally I'll bring a guest on. I've had my friend John Hertzberg from Fun City Editions on the, I think he's maybe my most frequent recent guest, but a lot of times it's just me talking about physical media. When I'm picking up what I'm interested in, I'll have label specific episodes and things like that. But the other show is called Pure Cinema, and that's a big passion project for me. We're coming up on 9 years, I think, in February.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a long time running, and it's a show that has aligned itself with the New Beverly Cinema, which is a repertory theater in Los Angeles, and it's owned by Quentin Tarantino. And in about 2019, we became the official podcast of the New Beverly. So part of the show is that we run down the calendar for the New Beverly every month, what they're playing. That's one episode we do per month. And the other is sort of a freestyle cult movie looking for lesser seen gems based on various topics that we come up with, my partner Elric Kane and I. And sometimes we'll do director episodes where we pair movies. We've tried to keep the format pretty open because we don't really want to rein ourselves in and keep it going as long as possible. And I think that helps when you don't rein yourself in too much. So Pure Cinema, it's the bigger show, the more known show, and it's a big part of my life. It's just something that I'm constantly working. I was literally watching movies for an episode right before I got on here. So it gives purpose to my life, these podcasts, in terms of direction with movie watching.
Incredible. They're both fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'd love to know, we love to ask our guests what your relationship is specifically to physical media.
In terms of just where I got started, or how do you exactly...
Like what does it look like right now? Like what...
Yeah, how much therapy do you need?
Yeah, what's the percentage of your life that it's taking up?
Well, I mean, I moved into an apartment coming up on a year ago now, and I had been living in a house, and I will say that downshifting to a smaller space, as you guys know, space is a premium thing for physical media collectors. And so when you have a home and you have a garage where you can put boxes of Blu-rays, if you don't have them in the house, suddenly when you have to move all that stuff, it becomes quite a task. And you really have to take stock of like, what am I doing here? Like, this is a lot of stuff that I really need all this? And so I had a big purging when I moved into my apartment, and I'm in the process of continuing to sort of scale back. But I have a lot. I mean, I don't know what the count is. At some point, it was probably close to 10,000, but
wow.
I'm sure it's considerably less than that now. But I just never want to even count because I just know that it would take a lot of time, and B, it wouldn't make me feel any better about the situation.
No good can come from the count.
Right?
When you're when you're going through boxes, when you're looking at titles, what makes you keep one versus getting rid of one?
It's a tricky algorithm, if I'm honest, because I think part of the reason some of this stuff hangs on, I mean, the main stuff you want to keep, obviously, is the stuff that you love, right? That makes the most sense. Mm-hmm. But for the podcasts, especially for Pure Cinema, where we're always looking for more obscure films that are less talked about, that means that some of the stuff where I'm like, do I really want to keep this? I haven't even watched it, and it's still in plastic, and it's been 5 years. It's hard to let go of that stuff because you go, well, maybe there's an episode that this would be good for. And so it's really hard. Like, I really kind of have to be like comparing it to other films that I think are similar and deciding like, this one I think I can let go.
Sure.
It's not easy, though. It's really not easy as a process.
Are you upgrading a lot of stuff? Like, are you in on 4K?
Yeah, definitely am in on 4K. Although, I'm one of those people that, and I have some friends in the industry, so to speak, John Hertzberg, again, being one of them, who have a very interesting attitude about 4K, which is, the more I think about it, the more reasonable it becomes. And that is that not everything, and it's kind of obvious thing to say, but not everything needs a 4K.
Mm-hmm.
And that unfortunately 4K has become the standard for physical media. And so everybody, when a new movie comes out, if it's not on 4K, they're like, why not? And they don't want to buy it if it's not in 4K. And I think that is, if I'm honest, slightly problematic in the collecting space because, from the point of view of the people that do this stuff, 4Ks are obviously more expensive to license. Just a license, that's an extra license, not just on top of the film itself. You get a 4K license and then you got to deal with, dealing with 4K as physical production is more expensive. And so it's really hard for these smaller labels to do this stuff. And I feel like there's a lot of pressure on them to put out 4K. But am I a sucker for it? Do I buy them? Yes, I absolutely do. So I'm again, very conflicted about some of these things. But there are definitely movies where I'm like, I hear a 4K announcement and I'm like, oh, that movie, that makes sense. This is a very visually dynamic movie, and I think a movie that would benefit from 4K, whereas there's some other ones where I'm like, do I need to? I don't know. And so I've definitely held off on upgrading a few things, but I do get suckered on a lot more than I would like to admit.
There's a dynamic on our show where Kurt tends to upgrade
everything,
way more titles than I do. We even had not an argument, but a discussion about it a couple episodes ago where Kurt was like, you need to buy Jurassic Park on 4K. I was like, I don't know, man. The Blu-ray looks fine. And he was like, the 4K is not even that good, but you need to get it. I was like, all right.
How can you sleep at night if you don't?
Oh, I get that's one where like Jurassic Park, right? I mean, that's like the kind of movie where I understand the pressure to upgrade a movie like that. I mean, it's a beautiful looking film. It's iconic. So that's one of those where I would be conflicted, but I can respect your stance on not upgrading, because the other thing about that to me too is that collecting is about discovery. I mean, that's about what my shows are about and things. Mm-hmm. So if I'm taking that money to upgrade for Jurassic Park, I'm taking those resources away from maybe discovering something that's on Blu-ray or whatever. And so it's really tricky. It's a really tricky thing.
And that's pretty much my mindset around it, is that I would rather buy one new title instead of one that I've already seen and own.
I respect that.
So today's episode is a little different than anything we've ever done on the show, but it's also kind of similar to what we do on every show. Listeners will know that we end this podcast every week by putting one wish out a piece into the physical media universe for a title on a format that it does not yet exist on. And being the beginning of a new year and having Brian here to join us, we have decided to do a little round robin and do a super wishes episode for the year of 2026. We've each picked 5 titles, and we're going to bounce back and forth and reveal what they are to each other. I would like to kick this off by saying that I have 6 titles, but I do have a theme and a reason for those 6 titles. So perhaps I will go first, if that's okay with you, gentlemen. I will start this and end this.
Sounds great.
I will reveal my theme right off the bat.
Wait. I have a quick question. Are we going number 5 is your least wanted and number 1 is your most, or is this just a random 5 titles?
I did it that way. I did it 5 to 1, least to most. I mean, I want all of them, but slightly least to most.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go in chronological order.
Okay.
And I will reveal right now that the theme of mine is I'm a big fan of Columbia's box sets, the Columbia Classic box sets. I believe there are 5 of them. They each come with 6 4Ks, all under the Columbia Studio banner. They span across the decades. They usually reflect things back from the 40s all the way to present day. And a lot of times, I think probably actually when these come out, the only way to get the titles in these box sets on 4K are within the box set. And then oftentimes they will be released later as solo releases, examples being like Lawrence of Arabia or The Social Network or Taxi Driver. But for a long time, the only way you could get those titles on 4K were in those respective box sets. So I have built a wish list for a volume 6.
Love it.
Oh, okay.
Very ambitious. I like this. And by the way, I do love that they do those box sets. It is annoying that sometimes those titles aren't available. But, you know, I mean, you can go to eBay and you've always find somebody that split up the set. And is it more expensive than you want? Yes, but it's less than the whole box set. So
Yep. And then the minute you buy it, they announce a solo release. And
Of course.
About a window. So these, to my knowledge, at least in the US, do not have a presence on 4K. They're all, I believe, all except for one are available on Blu-ray here. The first one I will go with is from 1950. It's directed by Nicholas Ray, starring Humphrey Bogart and Gloria Graham, In a Lonely Place.
Very nice. Love that movie.
This is available on Criterion Blu-ray. Humphrey Bogart plays a Hollywood screenwriter who is basically under suspicion of murder and has his own sort of violent tendencies that we're seeing crop up throughout the movie as he becomes involved with his neighbor, played by Gloria Graham. This is just an amazing noir, Hollywood noir. Fits right in there with like Sunset Boulevard. I'd love to see it on 4K.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it's not. I'm shocked. I always just kind of assumed it was. It feels like one that, although I'm looking at the Criterion listing right now, and it looks like the last restoration was a 2K.
Oh,
so they'd obviously have to do something else. But this one, this is going to happen. There's no, I mean, I don't have any intel, but this just feels like it's got to happen
For
at some point,
for sure.
You know?
Does Criterion still have the rights for it, do we think?
That's a good question. I mean, I would assume it feels like their relationship with Columbia is pretty good.
Sure.
But sometimes the Columbia sets will put out the 4K version of a movie that is on Blu-ray from Criterion and then eventually comes out on 4K from Criterion. But like Punch Drunk Love, the first way to get that on 4K was in the Columbia set, even though it was already on Criterion Blu-ray and is now on Criterion 4K.
Yeah, I mean, it could go down like that. It could go down as a part of a box set and then get a Criterion. But it feels like eventually it's just such a towering noir classic that I would love to think that they'll get to it at some point.
Yep.
Great movie.
All right, Brian.
All right, I'm going to start with, you know what? These are all just no Blu-ray. I mean, 4K would be great, right? But I just want a Blu-ray for these.
Ooh, beautiful. They're all DVD or VHS only.
Yeah. I mean, I think these all have DVD as far as I know.
Okay.
But that's the last. So I'm going to start with Peter Bogdanovich's film Noise is Off.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, super fun. This is a movie that I have really come to love and I think is just hilarious. Speaking of the New Beverly, I've seen it with the crowd. I've seen it there, and it is such a blast to watch with a crowd because it is a story of a theater troupe basically putting on a play. The director is played by a very frazzled Michael Caine, and the cast is just incredible. It's like Carol Burnett, Christopher Reeve, Julie Haggerty, Mark Lynn Baker, John Ritter. It's just Denholm Elliott. It's really an incredible cast. And so we start on the first, they're doing a rehearsal the night before they're going to do their play. And it's a nightmare. Like they don't have the play ready. And, Caine is losing his mind. And he's really good in this because he's like very sarcastic and he just does a great job. But so what's fun about it is it starts and we get a sense of what the play is as they rehearse it. And then we go to another show and now we're behind the scenes. We kind of know what's going on in the play. And now we're seeing the drama with the cast. And the cast has a lot of drama between the actors. And there's one just incredible sequence where they're in the middle of the actual play and nobody can talk but backstage. So you're having to see them like kind of whisper and just gesticulate at each other. And it is absolutely hilarious. And it sort of develops from there. It even gets more involved and more complicated in terms of the interaction of the play itself and the characters and what they're doing, what's going on with them. As you go, you basically, I think it's like three or four performances of the play that we see from various points of view. And it's just, I think, a delightful comedy that just builds and is really funny just to see how badly the play goes at certain points, especially once you know what it's supposed to be and how badly it goes off the rails by the end. I think it's one of the funniest movies that Bogdanovich did, and I think What's Up Doc is one of the great screwball comedies ever. So yeah. I think it's in the conversation with that, and I really want, as much as it's available in HD digitally, I really want a Blu-ray. I want a 4K. I mean, it's complicated by the fact that I think it was a Touchstone release, so it's Disney, and who knows if that's going to happen. I would love to see the vaults open up sooner than later more for this kind of stuff. But I'm surprised it hasn't already happened. So I'm wondering if there's some issue. But yeah, Noises Off would be a great Blu-ray and or 4K release.
Did you say the year?
92. I'm sorry, 1992.
And is it based on a stage play?
That is a good question. I think it
I feel like it's at least done on stage. I remember like my high school doing it. I think before I got there, but
I think you might be right. I'm trying to determine its origins, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was based on some kind of play.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I didn't know he had done that.
Yeah, it's super fun stuff.
All right, Sam.
I'm going to piggyback on that and pivot. And one of the things that I have written down is just the Disney Vault. and I have titles like inside of that for sure. But for my number 5, I'm going to say the Disney Vault with a highlight on Cool Runnings from 1993.
No.
George of the Jungle from 97.
Wow.
And this movie called Shipwrecked from 90, which only exists on DVD. The other two have had Blu-ray releases that quickly, I don't know what you call it. They went back into the vault or they went out of print, but they're like $95 a pop on eBay.
Oh, wow.
For Cool Runnings and George of the Jungle, which are just great classic family movies that I grew up watching all of the time.
You're a big George of the Jungle head, Sam? I didn't know that.
I mean,
I've never seen that.
Really? With Brendan Fraser? We had it on VHS. We watched it a lot.
Okay.
I have never seen Shipwrecked, although
dude,
this cover I totally have seen. Like, when I worked in a video store, we had this. I just never watched it, but it looks really interesting.
Gabriel Byrne is the bad guy in it. We had this. I believe we bought this from the video store that was going out of business in my hometown.
I love those.
And we watched this thing every day for a while. It's like a little Norwegian boy gets like basically recruited to be the ship boy on this boat that then gets taken over by pirates and it gets shipwrecked on this island. And the little kid finds the treasure. And then Gabriel Byrne leaves this band of pirates to this island to get the treasure back. And he has a line that's like, I want that treasure. That's and that movie's probably the best movie ever made. So here's to hoping.
There we go.
That line is all I know about it. Brian, Sam and I lived in a house in Culver City in like 2010 with a bunch of other guys.
One was my older brother.
Yeah. And we all just walked around going, I want that treasure all the time.
I love those.
Because
I love those lines.
During that time, I bought that DVD for my older brother. And I think, after maybe a couple barrels of rum one night, we threw it on and nobody remembers it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh, look, so it is on Disney Plus. At least I can stream
Is it really?
It looks like it. I was just checking Just Watch. It looks like it is. I want to double check that.
I'm sure those all are.
Yeah.
Cool Runnings is so fantastic.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me that I was like, oh, those have come out, right? But you're right. Yeah, out of print. And speaking of the Disney Vault, I mean, obviously you have the Disney titles, then you have the Fox titles, which is a whole other animal that is driving me absolutely crazy. So movies like Breaking Away, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I have the Twilight Time Blu-ray. I have it digitally, but I just want a nicer edition. It's just a movie that should be upgraded. It's one of the great films of the 70s. It should be upgraded. And there's so many Fox titles you could say that about. So the Disney Vault is so vast in terms of what's locked in there that we want to get out. I just hope with all my heart that something happens soon.
Yeah, me too.
There's a pretty strong rumor, I think, that Fight Club is coming to 4K this year.
I've seen that. That's big.
That to me is a good sign.
Yeah, agreed.
If they're going to put Fight Club out, they're probably, not afraid.
They're probably
of
putting
other
Cool
things.
Runnings out.
Yeah. Those go hand in hand.
I was worried about. I was like, I don't know if they would ever, shine the flashlight on Fight Club again. But it's great news.
I think from what I had heard, it was one of the biggest physical media selling titles
of all time.
Of all time of Fox history. So I feel like there was a part of me that's like they can't ignore that movie for too long because people have been dying to get it.
I feel like every dude moved to college with a copy of Boogie Nights and Fight Club on DVD.
The cardboard slips.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
All right. My next one is a movie I have seen, but not in a long, long time. 1970s 5 Easy Pieces, starring Jack Nicholson. This is available on Criterion Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Both in the I'm trying to remember the name of the box set. It's like the
BBS, I think. The BBS
yes,
set.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. The Bob Rafelson directed movie starring Jack Nicholson from the 70s, Karen Black. My memory is that it's about a man who travels back to his hometown where his father's dying and they sort of confront their relationship together. It of course, involves like the famous diner scene.
Yep. Hold it between your knees, baby.
And it's just one of his, early great performances. I would love to see it as part of my fictional box set.
That's a great choice. Yeah, I was surprised. It's another one when you say it, I'm like, is that not on 4K already? That's nuts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want that. I like that movie a lot. I like Rafelson a lot. I want King of Marvin Gardens on 4K. Anyway, go ahead.
There is a standalone Blu-ray from Criterion.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, next up. Okay, so this is, I'm not going to, exactly what Kurt's doing because I have a sixth title, but I'm just going to mention it. It's not really officially a title. But the one I'm going to pick here is a John Sayles movie. I love John Sayles. I've been really happy to see his representation on physical media of late. But some of his latter stuff, post 2000 stuff, is still kind of lingering. And one that I only discovered myself for the first time in the last couple years is this movie he did called Go for Sisters. Which is officially the last movie he has made. And it was back in 2013. It's only available on DVD. The DVD is out of print. It's not streaming in any way. It is really hard to see it, unfortunately. But it is, I think, a really good movie. The alternate title I was going to mention is Limbo, but Go for Sisters has kind of been my darling. It's a wonderful film about she's a parole officer played by Lisa Gay Hamilton. She gets one day a visit from an old friend of hers played by Yolanda Ross, who they used to be friends in high school, but their paths diverged very differently. Yolanda dealing with a life where she's dipped into some criminal activity, or she's not been, her life hasn't been gone great. And so she gets dumped on Lisa Gay Hamilton's lap as a new parolee. It happens to coincide with a problem that the Lisa Gay Hamilton character is having with her own son, who's, I want to say he's, older, like early 20s or something. And he has disappeared and he has been dealing with his own criminal entanglements, if you will. And so Lisa Gay Hamilton has to ask the Yolanda Ross character, I need your help figuring out what happened to my son. Even though this seems highly illegal for you to be dipping into your criminal underworld contacts to help me with this, don't worry, I'm your parole officer. This is okay. And so, but they, it's really neat, their relationship, how it was and how it sort of starts to pick up again. And then at some point in the process of trying to find their son, they involve an ex-cop who is almost blind, played by Edward James Olmos, to sort of help them. I think it's really interesting because they end up going down to Mexico and there are some border stuff that happens. And I really do feel like it's in conversation with Lone Star, which is probably my top 2 or 3 Sayles films. I love that movie. So I think it's just a movie that is still relevant, obviously today, very much, and is in conversation with one of his best films. It's just a movie that nobody seems to know because of its lack of availability. I'm looking at Letterboxd. It's got 665 logs to give you an idea of how few people have watched this movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, I would just love a Blu-ray would be great. A 4K would be fantastic. I don't know if it's a company that's still solvent or not, or if there's some issue because it's an independent production. I would assume the rights have reverted to him at this point, but you never know. So I really do hope something happens with this sooner than later. But I'll settle for Limbo. If somebody can put out a Limbo Blu-ray or 4K, that seems like a Criterion pocket title for me. I would just make a lot of sense if they did it,
Yeah, that's one I've always wanted to see and is hard to find physically now. And I've just sort of been like, well, somebody's going to do it. Limbo. Yeah,
Limbo is, it's definitely going to happen. I remember when it came, I was working at a DVD store when it came out on DVD, and it was hot. It was a hot title. People were very excited about the movie. It's a very interesting character study. I like it a lot. I just love John Sayles, so I want everything from him on disc and available, but either of these would be great.
We talked about this pick on a show not too long ago, but I'm picking 1989's Say Anything, which I thought was just going to be like, oh, I'll take the upgrade because I had it on DVD. I remember selling it and being like, oh, I'll buy this on Blu-ray. And I just looked and it looks like that Blu-ray is out of print. Not insanely hard to find for like a decent price, but it does not look like you can buy it new anymore. Now I really want Say Anything. This is a John Cusack movie, as I said, from 1989, directed by Cameron Crowe. I feel like it's been on my mind a lot lately because of the Peter Gabriel song in Marty Supreme. And Peter Gabriel plays such a huge part in Say Anything. This is the classic John Cusack standing with a stereo outside of a girl's house. If you've ever seen that image, it is from Say Anything, a great romantic comedy. It's really funny and actually like way more sarcastic than I remember it being. The Lily Taylor performance in Say Anything is hilarious.
Yes.
She's like constantly breaking up with this guy named Joe and writing songs about him. I highly recommend Say Anything if people haven't seen it. This also seems like Criterion is like maybe circling it.
Who's the studio? Is it Fox, I'm afraid?
20th Century Fox, yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the
There
problem.
you go.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I confessed last episode or whatever we brought it up, but Brian, I've never seen this movie.
I mean, I'm not into shaming people, man. That's just not my thing, you know? But I mean, it's a good movie. And here's something I'll throw out just as an aside, as a podcast fan. There's a Ringer podcast called The Rewatchables.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite episodes of a podcast I heard this year was Cameron Crowe on The Rewatchables, and he picked Shampoo, Hal Ashby's film
yeah.
Shampoo. And it is fantastic. I mean, I love Hal Ashby. I love Shampoo. I don't think that has a 4K yet, by the way.
I considered that for my box set because I believe that's also Columbia.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And my appreciation for it only elevated by listening to that episode. But yeah, Cameron Crowe on that episode, can't recommend it enough. Really, really worth it.
That's cool. I'll check that out.
But yeah, Say Anything's a classic. It's truly great.
It's great.
Sam, I am into shaming people, and I'm going to point out that I think there are two versions of Say Anything on Blu-ray. One, according to Blu-ray.com, there's one that came out in 2015 from 20th Century Fox, which is not the anniversary edition, and that one appears to be $8.99. So I think there may be like a cheap version of it.
I also just saw that, but I think that's $8.99 used off of Amazon.
Why are you shaming me, Sam? You're right. Moving on. My next one is 1971, Roman Polanski, his version of Macbeth.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen this.
It's really good. There's a Criterion Blu-ray of this. You know, I love Macbeth. I love most of the film versions I've seen. You know, I guess I love all of the film versions I've seen. I probably had not seen them all, but this is a great, just like scary, realistic, haunting, 70s version. I don't know anything about his approach to this, but it's pretty much like maybe his first movie after the Manson murders. And it's hard to not watch it thinking about that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of his movies, like you can really feel the darkness coming out of the screen in a way that is unique to him.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't even seen all the Macbeth adaptations out there, but I think this is my favorite.
Cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it is really dark, as you say, and it does feel like he's doing it, for what that's worth, or however that might quantify itself.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like Polanski doing. And I'm not even a big Shakespeare adaptation guy. Like, I like some, but I'm not in the bag for all by any means. But that's definitely one of my favorites that's ever been done.
Another Criterion Blu-ray, right?
Yep.
Yo, here's a question. What's up with 1994's Death and the Maiden, a Polanski movie?
That is a good question.
I own it.
Who put that out?
It was like a Shout Factory website exclusive, so there's like 1,500 of them. I bought it, cannot remember why. It is in a shame pile somewhere. Is it worth seeing?
Yes, I will say
Okay.
yes, it's worth seeing, but it is also very dark. I mean,
Okay.
if I'm remembering correctly, this is the one where it's Sigourney Weaver and
Yeah.
who's the other one? I'll have to look it up in a second. But
Oh, Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley, I want to say it's one of those scenarios where, someone who's been assaulted and repressed it a bit is in a situation where they encounter their assaulter and it becomes kind of revenge scenario
Okay.
like that. So it's dark, it's dark stuff. But I remember the performances being good. I remember being drawn into it dramatically. But yeah, it's just a tough kind of movie,
Yeah. Well, we're doing it on the show next week. Brian, what's your number 3 pick?
My number 3 pick is, and this one shocks me. I don't know if it's the HBO of it, because I think HBO put this out on DVD, but it's a pretty known movie in a lot of circles, and that's American Splendor,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
2003.
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti, Hope Davis, Judah Friedlander, James Urbaniak. The movie based on the Harvey Pekar, underground comic strip series, multiple series. I want to say they incorporate a couple of his comic book series into it, because he did American Splendor, and then I think there was something like our cancer year or something like that that's in there too. But I just find it an absolute, gem in terms of the way that they incorporate the narrative with Paul Giamatti and then scenes of the real Harvey Picar off to the side, almost documentary stuff. It's just formally, I think, really interestingly done. And they do some great transitions with animation and things like that. But I just find Picar to be a very funny, sarcastic, cynical presence and somebody who that I don't know. I don't want to say he's like a role model in any way because that would be weird. But he just is a guy that you go, yeah, man, I get what you're saying. I get why you're upset, that kind of thing. So it's in a great, great Giamatti performance. I think he's spectacular in this movie. So it's kind of shocking to me that this one hasn't gotten any Blu-ray yet. It just blows my mind.
Who directed that?
Sherry Springer Berman and Robert Pulcini.
And you said HBO put out the DVD?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's what's on the back.
It's a theatrical film, though, right?
Yeah, it is. So I don't know if they made some deal for home video or what.
Okay.
Like that's where this stuff gets complicated and not really knowable. But
right.
I do know that there's been some HBO, like The Hitcher or things like that took a really long time to get a nice Blu-ray. So I'm hoping that there's somebody working on it. It's another one that feels like a very Criterion adjacent, if not direct Criterion title.
Without a doubt. It's a movie I haven't thought about in so long, but yeah, I remember seeing it probably in film school and being like, oh yeah, this is cool. This is really interesting. So I'd love to check it out again. Yeah,
it's great. It holds up really well.
My fourth pick.
Wait.
It's not my turn.
I'm going to do another easy one. Train Dreams from this year came out on Netflix. I really loved this movie. I thought it was very beautiful. I thought it was very moving. A really nice, quiet character study in the vein of Terrence Malick. I just hadn't seen a movie kind of like this in a minute, and it really got to me. This is streaming on Netflix. It is a Netflix original. I think Joel Edgerton will probably be up for Best Actor because of this. A movie that's getting some hype right now, but there are absolutely no plans to put it on physical media in any way, so here's to hoping. Did either of you guys watch this?
Not yet.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've only heard really good stuff. I gotta see it.
It's the writing-directing duo who did Sing Sing. I would gladly take this on a Blu-ray or 4K.
Brian, how often if ever, is the New Beverly playing Netflix movies? Do they ever get a 35 transfer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that definitely happens. I think it depends on the filmmaker and, the specific circumstances of some of those films. But Train Dreams got a 35 and
cool.
They played it for, I want to say a couple days maybe. So I think it just depends on, I think it's the filmmakers that are making these decisions, but it might be Netflix that's doing it. They definitely have a relationship. The New Beverly has a relationship with Netflix.
Awesome.
And so I know that they have done they have struck some prints. They have done some things. Wake Up Dead Man just played.
Okay.
Also a couple nights at the New Bev. So I know Ryan Johnson would definitely be involved in that getting a 35 print made. But again, they don't seem totally averse to it. So I hope there'll be more. I kind of like it when they do that. I mean, the one nice thing about LA is that we have the Egyptian. We can go see maybe a DCP of it in a theater of a Netflix movie. But it's always great to see him on 35 at the New Bev if I can.
Yeah, this actually played at the Hollywood Theater on 35 up in Portland, and I was traveling and missed it, unfortunately. So I ended up just streaming it, but this did show around.
My fourth title is a 1992 comedy called Honeymoon in Vegas.
Oh, nice.
This stars James Caan, Nicolas Cage, and Sarah Jessica Parker. Kim is a big fan of this, producer Kimberly. She showed it to me maybe 5 years ago. I'd never seen it or heard of it, honestly. And this movie is about Nicolas Cage and Sarah Jessica Parker going to Las Vegas to get hitched. And I believe Nicolas Cage loses a bunch of money betting with James Caan, who's a very wealthy man. And in order to clear his debt, they agree that James Caan can spend one evening with his wife, or to be Sarah Jessica Parker, and James Caan quickly whisks her away to Hawaii. This is the comedy version of Indecent Proposal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yep.
And features an incredible climax. It's really funny, really fun. It's on Blu-ray only at this point.
Yeah, this is a fun movie. This is one that my pod partner Elric turned me on to. He's a big fan of Honeymoon in Vegas. And I had not seen it until we started doing the show. So within the last 7-8 years, I saw it for the first time finally.
Same director as Striptease, another one of your favorites, Marty.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is Striptease Columbia? I'll make room in this box set.
My next one is tricky only because of the format that it was made in, but that doesn't have to hold it back from a Blu-ray release, I don't think. It's a documentary. If you listen to either of my shows, you'll know I'm a big fan of documentary. Just one of my favorite genres, if you call it that, of film. Anyway, this is a documentary. It is one of my favorite documentaries. And I happen to know it's one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite documentaries as well. It is called Hands on a Hard Body from 1997. Have you guys seen this film?
I've not.
I have not. I worked with one of the producers
Really?
for a long time. His name is Chapin. But yeah, go on.
Well, so the idea of the movie is that it's set in, I forget which city in Texas. I want to say a smaller town in Texas. And this particular car dealership has a contest every year they call Hands on a Hard Body, where they have a pickup truck that they are going to give away to one lucky person who can stand the longest with their hand on the car. So that is they've set it up in such a way that the contestants, get breaks. They get like a 5-minute break every hour and a 15-minute break every 4 hours. I can't remember what it is, but this is not the first time the contest has happened. And immediately you're introduced to all the players, everybody that's going to be putting their hand on the truck. You get to meet them and they're all interesting. Most interesting is this guy, Benny, who is just a quote machine. Like in terms of the stuff he says, everything he says is gold. But he is the guy who won it like 2 years ago, and he's coming back. For some reason, they don't disqualify people, which is an interesting notion. But so he is the veteran and he's the favored winner because, he's done it before. But so we get to see this progression as it goes. It goes multiple days, people standing next to this truck with their hand on it. And you just kind of get, the filmmakers, I think it's shot on like mini DV maybe.
Okay.
So this is where the upgrade would be difficult. However, I know that Quentin is such a fan of this. I think he had a 35 print made. So at least as an extra, if not the actual source, I would love to see this 35 print get a transfer to Blu-ray, because it would give it a different, like the stuff that Sean Baker's done, like Prince of Broadway and Take Out, where they were shot on mini DV and then transferred to film and then transferred back for the crate. I think those movies look really good in their new, transferred format. So I would love to see something like that happen with this if I'm, just putting out anything and everything I want. And I'd love to catch up with some of the people that are in this doc. I doubt that they're all still alive because it is, more than almost 3 decades ago. And some of them they look a little ragged. I'll say some of them may not have lived too much past this contest. That said, it is absolutely mesmerizing. My girlfriend is a huge documentary fan too, and I've had a lot of pleasure in showing her some of my favorites. This one is one of the ones she liked the most, and I would be surprised if you guys are into docs if you didn't love this too. It's just, again, just characters, just people that you're like, wow. So yeah, Hands on a Hard Body on a Blu-ray or 4K would be spectacular.
Hell yeah.
That sounds great.
I've always wanted to see it.
My fourth choice is going to be also kind of strange. There is an artist I really like who goes by the name of Skinner, and his art is very fantasy, metal music, Frazetta art inspired. And his Instagram handle is The Art of Skinner. I think in 2023 or 2024, him and a stop motion artist got together and made an animated movie called The Shrine of Abominations.
Whoa.
It is all stop motion. I've only seen clips of it online here and there. It is fucking gnarly, awesome creatures, cool monsters, really sick metal riffs happening in the background, but it's all stop motion. And by the time that I had found out about it, the Kickstarter had come and gone, and one of the things in the Kickstarter was that you would get a Blu-ray copy of the movie once it was done. And I don't think any of those have shipped yet, so they are still working on it, but I don't know if there's going to be a release of this outside of the Kickstarter. And I want to see this movie so badly, dude. This looks right up my alley. Mad God came out a couple years ago, and it seems very much in that world as well. Just really cool creatures, really great stop motion.
I was a big Mad God fan. This sounds great. This sounds really cool. I've never heard of this, so I gotta on the watch list now. I gotta check it out.
I bumped into a guy at a concert and I said, "Hey man, I really like that t-shirt." And he said, "It's this artist Skinner. You should check out his stuff online." And then that's what started this whole thing. But he is a really cool artist that does some really awesome stuff.
My fifth pick for my box set is incredibly mainstream. It is Nancy Meyers' 2003 movie, Something's Gotta Give.
This was on my long list, dude.
Oh,
wow.
I've probably wished for this on the show, I think. I was trying to avoid ones I already wished for, but these last two I may have already done. This is another Jack Nicholson movie starring the late, great Diane Keaton as well. Keanu Reeves, Amanda Peet. And Jack Nicholson plays a character who is in his 60s, I believe, at the time, and only dates very young women, and is a love story between him and Diane Keaton. But the best part is Keanu Reeves is also in love with Diane Keaton, and so it's basically a showdown between Keanu and Jack. No Blu-ray to be found. I, of course, want the 4K to pop up in my box set. Why the fuck isn't this on Blu-ray?
I feel like people often say this is one of their favorite Nancy Meyers movies as well. It's very strange to me that this does not exist.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I am trying to determine if I've seen it. I am certainly aware of it, but when you started describing the Keanu of it, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember that, and I would remember that.
He's just like a hot, successful doctor who's in love with Diane Keaton, and it's the best.
And Amanda Peet's also in love with him, right?
Amanda Peet is dating Jack Nicholson at the beginning of this movie, whose mother is Diane Keaton, right? Yeah.
Here's what I think happened in my head as to why I may not have seen this. I was working at a video store called Laser Blazer right around the time it came out.
Incredible name.
Yeah, they did all DVD and Laserdiscs and
Cool.
stuff.
Oh, wow, cool.
And I was in my, post-film school snobby, which, still creeps in every once in a while. And that was, a very mainstream release. And I might have just been like, turn up my nose at it. First, again, unjustified. I haven't seen the movie. It sounds delightful. I'm a gigantic You've Got Mail stand, I mean,
oh, baby.
Yeah.
And that was a movie I was never, because that definitely came out when I was in film school, working at a video store. It was out on VHS. I'm like, there's no way I'm watching this. I have no interest in watching this. And then I watched it, and it's absolutely wonderful.
That's like one of my holy grails on 4K, is not to add a seventh, but like, You've Got Mail, where is it?
Yeah, I don't get why that should, I hope. I mean, it's Warner's. It should, well, yeah, with this Netflix thing, who knows? But it should happen at some point. But anyway, point being is that I am a total sucker for, I only saw The Holiday for the first time a year. So there's a lot of these and that was right in the pocket for me too. So there's a lot of these that I know I'm going to love that occasionally I haven't seen. So I don't think I've seen it, and I got to watch it. I'm putting it on the watch list.
Dude, what if in the new Warner Brothers Vinegar Syndrome deal that they just signed, Vinegar Syndrome is the company that drops You've Got Mail?
I think that would be amazing. That would be such an amazing surprise.
Giant box.
They would be rioting, and it would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Very cool. My final title is one that I'm hoping is going to get a Blu-ray. Again, it's another Warner title. I'm hoping it's in the works already. I don't know that it is. It is Jake Kasdan's debut feature, Zero Effect, from 1998. Have you guys seen this?
I don't think I have.
Fantastic movie. We were lucky enough to, as part of the Pure Cinema thing that we've been working on, is trying to get into do screenings around Los Angeles, and we've been able to ingratiate ourselves into the American Cinematheque family, if you will, and they do a series called Friend of the Fest, and it's all podcasts presenting movies. And we've done it 3 years, and this year we got to do Zero Effect. And it was fantastic to watch it with a crowd. It's a movie I've seen quite a few times, but to see it with a crowd projected on screen in 35 was more engaging and more emotional than it had been for me previously. And it's ostensibly a comedy, but it does have some other stuff going on. But the idea is that Bill Pullman plays Darrow Zero, who is the effectively a kind of Sherlock Holmes for the new millennium. He's the greatest detective in the world, or so he's purported to be. And Ben Stiller is his assistant, who is forced to be put through a lot of paces to work with him. He's a very persnickety, particular, spectrum-y kind of guy. So he has a lot of demands that he makes on Ben Stiller. But he gets involved with a case involving the now late Ryan O'Neal, where he's looking for somebody that's blackmailing him. So Bill Pullman's character gets on the case. I really don't want to give away too much because I just think it's a movie that rewards it presenting itself to you. But it's a really great detective story. It's funny. It's clever. It's one of my favorite debuts from a filmmaker, maybe ever. I really think it's one of the strongest debuts. It's like, Rian Johnson's Brick, is another one that I would point to as something like this, but that's less funny. Whereas this is funny, and I'm more of a comedy guy, especially lately. So I just adore this film. And Kim Dickens is also in here. She's really good, but it is a really solid detective comedy with a good soundtrack and just a movie that I absolutely love. So I'm really hoping for a Blu-ray and or 4K soon, if we can.
Incredible.
Hell yes.
Just a real quick aside. I think Sam and I applied for that Friend of the Fest podcast, right, Sam? And
we did, yeah.
We pitched that we would screen John McTiernan's Basic. Needless to say, we were not chosen.
I think Basic is a movie I only saw for the first time a year or two ago.
Yeah.
I think it's a fascinating movie.
Fascinating.
Especially from John McTiernan. I know my friend Ben David Grabinski is a big fan of that movie. He did the Blank Check podcast when they were doing McTiernan, and he's on that talking about it.
Hell yeah.
And that was what sold me on it, is hearing him talk about it on that show. I was like, okay, I should watch Basic.
Only available on Blu-ray in an out-of-print 2-pack with SWAT.
So bizarre.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
All right, Sam.
I'm going to pivot and ask for Basic. No, I'm just kidding. I am pivoting. And I have definitely wished for this on the show before, but this is probably my number one right now. And it is 2012's Django Unchained.
Ooh.
Kurt knows my saga with this. I bought this movie when it was brand new on Blu-ray, and I bought a case that was like bigger. So when I bought this at the time, I did not have a lot of big cases, and this stuck out like a sore thumb on my shelf, and it drove me insane to the point of selling it. And I've never replaced it because I've always like, oh, that was a huge Quentin Tarantino movie. That's going to come out on 4K. That'll probably be in 4K next week. And then it just still has never come out. And it's a movie that I haven't seen in years now, and would love to rewatch it. This is Quentin Tarantino's kind of revisionist Western about a slave finding freedom and getting revenge. Very gory, very ridiculous, very over the top, but a pretty fun time at the movies, especially with the last shootout.
Seems inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the company alignment was for Inglourious Bastards, but I think it's Weinstein, and I want to... You know what? That's Sony. No, he jumped to Sony, I think, for that, now that I'm thinking about it. So I was going to say Arrow will pick it up for sure.
Yeah.
Inglourious has been such a success for them. But that said, it being Sony, I think, I don't know.
Maybe it'll be in my box set.
There you go. That's the answer.
It's just such a bummer. Like, and I get it. I understand how the rights issues get in the way of a lot of things. But when I'm like, hey, please let me give you money so I can have this movie of yours, and they're just like, no, it's a bit frustrating.
Indeed.
I'll keep this last one quick because I know you got to run here, Brian. My last one is 2011's Moneyball.
Oh, yeah.
This is just an incredible Blu-ray. Like, it looks so good on Blu-ray that I can only imagine, like, once you give it the HDR treatment, at least, it would just be like one of the great 4Ks. It's directed by Bennett Miller and stars Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. I don't know shit about baseball, and I couldn't tell you a whole lot more about the dynamics of like this plot other than Brad Pitt plays a manager of a team with a very kind of low budget who uses statistics, to pick players who are like really undervalued to build a team that is in theory going to be like unexpectedly talented and might stand up against teams with bigger budgets. Shot by Wally Pfister, who was Christopher Nolan's DP up through the Dark Knight movies. Just looks amazing. It's written by Steve Zalian and Aaron Sorkin. Just like an unbelievable collection of talent, and I think one of the great movies of that decade.
I agree. I had it not been on Tarantino's list that he did on sorry to talk about him so much, that he did on Bret Easton Ellis's podcast, he picked that as one of his top 20 or whatever.
Oh, cool. Okay.
We did our own version of that on Pure Cinema, and I would have put Moneyball on my list had he not already done it, because I just rewatched it last year, and it not only did it blow me away, it emotionally kneecapped me. I mean, just totally destroyed me. I mean, I have a 16-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And so movies with dad-daughter stuff, I mean, just put it right in the heart and turn that knife, because it really gets me, especially by the end. But it's just I mean, I don't like baseball particularly either. I'm not a big sports guy, but man, do I love sports movies. I think they're just some of the best, it's a very cinematic thing. And Moneyball is just absolutely spectacular. Just such a good movie.
It's also just like one of the most immensely watchable movies ever. It flows. The script is smart. Everybody's good in it. It just works.
Yeah. Great stuff. Great choice.
It's going to be a great year, folks, when all these come true.
Yes.
I'm feeling great. Brian, we can't thank you enough for coming on our show. This was
it's been a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure.
Brian.
Absolute pleasure.
Tell our listeners where they can find your incredible podcasts.
Pure Cinema and Just the Discs are available everywhere that you get podcasts. The YouTube channel, just search Just the Discs. And then we have socials on Blue Sky, Pure Cinema Pod, Just the Discs Pod. Those are also on Instagram. I'm Rupert Pupkin Speaks on Instagram.
Hell yeah.
And very active on Instagram. Somewhat active on Blue Sky, but Instagram is definitely my social media of choice at the moment. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Rupert Pupkin. Let's get another wish on the board here. Where's King of Comedy on 4K?
King of Comedy 4K.
Come on, Criterion.
Needs to happen. Stupid Fox title. Damn it.
Again, somebody needs to go rescue the Fox vault out of the Disney vault.
Let's all buy ski masks.
I've seen Heat once or twice.
Yeah, we can do it.
How hard can it be? Okay, that is it for another episode of Physical Therapy, a movie podcast. A big thank you to Patrick Laban for our incredible music, to Kimberly for producing, and a massive thank you to Brian Saur for joining us. Be sure to check out his podcasts. He and they are fantastic.
If you are liking this podcast, please follow us on Instagram at PTMoviePod. Tell your best friend or your mom, and maybe leave us a review if that's not too much to ask.
We will be back next week talking Steven Spielberg's Minority Report.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.